role is to create conversations for brands, right? Because today everything is about what consumers talking about a brand. Viral terms of abhi aaya hai, but if you see real brand building, it's really about how do you get consumers to talk about your brand. Yapping means talking, right? So we want to create that chatter. We want to create that conversation for brands, and hence the name Yap. We help brands build themselves on digital, talk to the younger consumers on digital, talk to the older consumers on digital. So we're a digital first, tech-led marketing agency. That's what we really do for brands.
Welcome to Sunday Investing, and this is the 32nd episode of Know Your Promoter series. We have Mr. Atul from YAAP Digital Limited, who is the founder and CEO of the company. Welcome, sir.
Thank you so much, Tanmay. Thank you for inviting me, and happy to be here and have this interaction with you.
Sir, first of all, we would like to understand your journey behind YAAP Digital. What inspired you to start this business?
So, I've spent almost 3 decades in advertising, marketing. I was part of India's first digital marketing company almost 17, 18 years back. So 10 years back, when I looked at the market, there was one very real gap. There were lots of digital marketing agencies which was doing content creation, and there were lots of them which were doing tech. They were building apps, they were building websites and things like that. But there was very few companies that was bringing tech, data analytics, and creative together. And we thought that that's a great space to combine all of this, and that's really how YAAP as a brand was born and YAAP as a company was born, and that was really our starting point. And I'm glad we did that today when I look back almost 10 years, because this is exactly what happened. The market went towards saying that use of more tech, more data, more analytics for use of content. And then as years progressed, 5 years back we adopted into influencer marketing when it was just starting off. Now, of course, in the last 1 year, we've added the AI layer to both our distribution, which is our media side of the business, and to discovery, which is our content creator side of the business. So that, in a nutshell, has really been the reason for us to bring together something like YAAP. And at the same time, we wanted to bring a collection of people who had spent a lot of time in the industry. So I keep telling people that, YAAP might be a startup, but everybody who's running it are all veterans. People have spent 15 years, 20 years in the industry. And today brands want to work with people who have that experience, right? So it was bringing in rich, experienced people into a young company. And that really is YAAP in a nutshell.
So, it is said by the veterans that the biggest asset for any marketing company in whatever ecosystem it is operating is the team building. So, and they said that those key, people are the backbone of the company. So, what was the history behind the team building part of the, yeah?
So, from day one, we structured it very differently. We did not have a typical structure where you have a CEO and you have people. We had a partner structure. So we have senior partners who run each vertical or they run a geo. And what that did is that, we made entrepreneurs out of professionals because they were pretty much like running their own companies within the organization. And all of them had shareholding in the overall holding company structure. So the idea was really that, get people with an entrepreneur mindset, but with professional backgrounds, right? And then the other unique thing with us is that most of our senior people are the same that we started off with. So very less attrition. And when senior people stick together, the team sticks together, clients stick together. So it's like almost like a domino effect, one after the other, things keeping happening, right? So that's really been our thing, that get the right people. Even if you have to pay them more, you have to hire before turn, do that, and then have very strong policies. Like, for example, when COVID hit, we did not fire a single person, even though for 4 months we did not have any business, right? And that then helped us in the next 2 years because all of them stayed back, because they saw an organization that does a lot for their employees. So that's really been the focus, that, hire good talent, hire experienced talent, and then stick with them.
So before going to the next question, the name YAAP is quite interesting. So what is the, what backstory behind this name?
I'm glad you asked this, Tanmay, in all the interviews that I've been doing. But basically, what is our role? Our role is to create conversations for brands, right? Because today everything is about what consumers talking about a brand. Viral term to abhi aaya hai. But if you see real brand building, it's really about how do you get consumers to talk about your brand. Yapping means talking, right? So we want to create that chatter, we want to create that conversation for brands, and hence the name YAAP.
Oh, great to know that. Sir, now let's jump on the business model of the company. So what, basically YAP does and how it helps, companies to grow their, brand repute and also on the sales part.
Yeah. So we have three lines of businesses, what we call as design, discovery, and distribution. Think of, marketing company. We help brands build their brands on digital, right? So it could be whatever brand. It could be a BFSI, it could be FMCG, it could be auto, it could be travel, tourism, startups, whatever. Today, everybody has to have a presence in digital. So design part of our business is, we design anything. It could be a YouTube show for them, or it could be a content, it could be Instagram reel, it could be a website design, it could be any form of design. That's what design does. Once you've done the design, how do people discover that this is there, this is your content, this is your message? That's discovery, which is primarily influencer marketing, right? We started this almost 4 5 years back when it was just taking off. Today in India, it's a 4 5 6,000 crore industry, pure influencer marketing. We've now added a layer of tech on it so that we can do long tail influencer, we can do large influencer campaigns. Then we have the last one, D, which is distribution, which is online paid media planning and buying. So you want to advertise on Google, you want to advertise on LinkedIn, you want to advertise on Facebook, right? We have now here again, we have added our own tech data analytics powered by AI, where we can do better targeting so that there's more efficiencies for brands. There's better cost per view for clients. So in essence, these are the three things we do. From day one, these are only the three things we do, and we continue. We have is happy working with one company and saying do everything with us, but no, we only do these three things. These three services anyway, cover 80 to 85% of any digital marketing need that a brand has. So we help brands build themselves on digital, talk to the younger consumers on digital, talk to the older consumers on digital. So we're a digital first, tech-led marketing agency. That's what we really do for brands.
Got it. So, we as a people come from the capital markets background and we all understand retail, healthcare or, manufacturing quite well. But when it comes to marketing, we people know like very few terms, like let's say we know few companies like maybe in Mobi or an RK Swami or some outdoor, advertiser. So, I want to just understand that what, parts or the, core competency does YAP do in the whole advertising ecosystem and what it doesn't do, and also the second subpart would be how does you are leveraging tech to differentiate yourself from the other players?
So one of the challenges for YAP throughout this, hitting the capital markets has been that there is no like-to-like peer, right? So we are in a way a trendsetter for our industry itself that a digital-first marketing company is getting listed. We have advertising companies. So RK Swami is an advertising company. They do TV ads, print ads, outdoor. We don't do any of that. We are purely digital, right? We are digital first. And today, just to give you a sense, 125,000 crore is the advertising sector, out of which almost 55 to 60% is only digital spends. And it's the only segment that is, while the rest of the segments are degrowing, right? So we operate in the fastest growing segment of the advertising pie. So that's the one thing, right? There's no like to like peer. But today, if a brand wants to do any kind of marketing, it starts from digital, right? And they need a partner like YAP. And we work across categories. How do we leverage tech? And let me give you a very simple example. Let's say a big brand wants to do influencer marketing. Today, the way influencer marketing is done, and you would have seen content creators, about 80% of the budgets go to about 300, 400 content creators because people have not discovered the long tail, because you need tech to discover that. See, you can put 500 names in an Excel and that's easy to keep on giving them business. But tomorrow, let's say somebody is launching a mobile phone and they want 10,000 creators. Then we have the tech for it, which can analyze, which can say, okay, you want to go to Gujarat, these are the content creators. You want to go to Himachal, these are the content creators. Now that is a tech that we have built, right? Which helps us do long tail influencer marketing, which will, so we have access to millions of creators who may not be big. Also, the other thing I keep telling clients that don't run after somebody who has 10 million followers. That's not the role of influencer marketing. Even somebody might have 50,000 followers, but they have great influence. Like in your capital market, there might be somebody only with 20, 25,000 followers, but they have the right people following them. So our tech allows us to identify that. So that's how we are doing. Then, of course, in content creation today, AI is used in a big manner. So generative AI So one of the offices is also to set up an AI studio, but we have already started working. Last 1 year, we have adopted AI for creation of content for clients. So that's how we differentiate, and that's how we are using tech across our 3Ds.
Got it. So do we have any kind of an international exposure for some multinational clients?
Yes, across Dubai Tourism, which is the world's largest tourism brand, is one of our largest clients. They've been with us now for almost 6.5, 7+ years with us. We work with Tinder, which is again a global brand. So our mix is a mix of Indian homegrown startups, foreign brands. It's across that we work with.
So can you mention some of the, your clientele list?
Yes, so we have the Adani Group. Again, it's a group that last 14 months we have scaled up, started with the Dharavi project, move on to ports, move on to foundation. We work with the NPCI Group. We work with clients like Del Monte, which is into FMCG. We work with Dubai Tourism, which is into tourism. We work with Nixie, which is the Internet Exchange of India, the guys who give you the .in domain. So that is again something that we do. Adani, I mentioned, we work now across three of their organizations. We work with SBI cards. We work with SBI General Insurance. We work with IndusInd Bank. So it's like a long list of clients. We work with exciting things like IdeaBuzz, which is India's Shark Tank. We launched IdeaBuzz on Z. So that's almost like a startup that we've done from day one. So it's really a mixed bag of clients.
So I've seen some of background of the company. So the acquisitions also have played a very vital role in growth of the company and also maybe in terms of increase of the capability. So how do you see acquisitions, as a whole segment to cater the growth in the future and also adding up on the capabilities part?
So we have always been a company that has believed that organic and inorganic growth go hand in hand. Right? Organic, we are very clear that whatever the industry growth sector is, so for example, digital is growing at anywhere between 15 to 16% every year. We have been double of that every year, right? So our benchmark is very clear. If your category is growing by X, you need to be at least 2X. So that's this. Plus, we feel that inorganic, so whenever we acquire, we look at a couple of things. First, we see, does it help us go deeper into any of those 3Ds that we have? Right? So can we now have more clients access? Can we have more services? What is the kind of clients those guys have that we are acquiring? Or it gives us access to a new market, right? So when we acquired Dubai 3 years back, it gave us access to a newer geo. So acquisition is always based on these two things. The other thing we look at is, can we take some of our existing services in the 3Ds and go to the new set of clients that we are acquiring in the new company? So we've always looked at synergies. And then the most important, founders, will they gel in with our team, culture, people culture? Because at the end of the day, we are all about people, right? It's a services business. So it's extremely important. And we have now shown this in the last 10 years with the 3, 4, 5 acquisitions we've done, that we integrate very well. So our on-ground execution of integration happens very well. And that's a key reason to make anything you acquire, make it successful.
So, there is a point called as, success tracking. So, as we all know, across the platforms, the algorithms change a lot. All this penetration towards the content also has got a very vary range. So, how does our company has the tracking of the success towards the clientele and their, a bundle of, solutions which you are providing on the advertising part?
So, every campaign begins with objectives. The objective would be reach. I want to reach X million of people. Okay, the objective would be I need so many leads. Or the objective would be I want so many visits to my website. There are different objectives. The good thing about digital marketing is that everything can be tracked. There is no ambiguity. हाँ मुझे अच्छा लगा, मुझे अच्छा नहीं लगा. There's nothing like that. It's tracked and it's metrics led. That if I say that, okay, I want to spend 100 rupees and I want to reach 10 people, did we reach that 10 people? Did we reach that 100 people? Right? So every campaign that we do, we start off with a pre-decided campaign objective, which is metrics led. Right? Of course, there are brand campaigns which are beyond metrics. There are softer aspects, brand affinity, things like that, which then the companies do their own research to figure out whether build. But from our side, once the campaign objectives are decided, this is what it is. Then we track it. We track it using our own internal tools. We track it using external tools, so that when the campaign ends, there's no ambiguity that I think like this, you think like that, because the numbers then show everything. And that's really been one of the ways that ensures that there's client retention and client.
As there is a lot of buzz, on the artificial intelligence or data analytics or the machine learning part, and also you spoken earlier. So how this is helping our company to grow, and what are the future plans you're looking to, go in that value chain to increase capabilities on these ends?
Yeah. So one thing all of us should understand, it's very early days for AI. Right? A lot of people use the AI term very loosely without really understanding what is it for. Okay, at YAAP, we are very clear. We want to use AI to ensure that we get better efficiencies for the three Ds that we are in. So we have now on our distribution, which is the media business, we have built a AI tech layer, which gives us better targeting for clients. In our discovery business, we have now built a layer, which gives us better analytics and data for the content creators economy. Right. So, and in our design, we are using AI to create stuff. Right. So if we did 5 creatives for a client today we are able to do 15, 20 using AI. So it's increasing efficiencies for us. So for us, AI is really saying that can we use AI to better the 3Ds? It's not to try and do a fourth new thing. And then organizationally, we are using AI for better processes. That is more from internal than for the client. We see this is going to be an extremely important play going ahead, which is why one of the objectives is also to set up a AI studio in Bombay for us, which will create a lot more content, generative content using AI. Like for example, IdeaBuzz, when we launched it with a film which was completely done on AI, including voices, scripts, music, everything. And that is just the beginning. I think AI has just started. We've not even seen what the possibilities are. But very important, like we had identified influencer marketing almost 5 years back, okay, and now it's become a proper category and industry on its own. The same with AI, right? The challenge here is not to get caught in hype, but actually use it for real execution. And real execution takes time, right? It's easy to say, everybody is to say that we do AI. Go to clients and bring in. You are targeting 100 influencers. Now I can use an analytics generated by AI to target 100,000. Right? So everywhere we are seeing how AI can show a very clear outcome and there's no ambiguity on that. So that's what, but we have just begun, we just started using it 7, 8, 9 months back. We think that in the next 2, 3 years, a lot will change. But we want to be ensure that, we have identified it and we are investing in it and we're using it for our clients.
So what are the objectives for Fresh Issue?
So there is a acquisition of a company called Gozoop. So that's the majority of it. We are building an AI studio. Then there is working capital is there, and then there's the corporate which is unidentified tomorrow if we want to acquire something which is not identified yet. So those are really the 4 tenets of the objects.
So can you elaborate more on the acquisition part?
Yes, so we are acquiring a company called Gozoop, very solid company, almost 15, 17 years. So it's not a company that just come out in the last 2, 3 years. They're based in Bombay, 250, 300 odd people. This is something that will, they have 2 lines of businesses. 50% comes from content creation, which is the design part of YAAP. 50% comes from a very interesting service called Hawk. Hawk is basically you are, social listening, social monitoring, online reputation management, CRM service, where they are now integrating an AI layer to it to make it more efficient. So what the Gozoop acquisition does is, it gives us a new set of clients. So almost, 45, 50 odd clients we get, which are new, which gets added to us, whom we are able to go and sell our services. They don't do media. They don't do influencer marketing. So suddenly 2 of us, which is discovery and distribution, we can take it to their clients. Good set of people, very good founders, young founders who started this when they in their early 20s, and have done a great culture, which is extremely important in our business. So, and all of it based in Bombay. So suddenly it gives us lots more client base in Bombay, which is one of the most important markets for advertising in India. So that's really been the reason for acquiring Gozoop.
What kind of financials would this new company would have?
So last year they closed March at about, I think, 65, 70 crores of top line with about 8 crores of EBITDA. And now at a growth path where they are growing at about 25% every year.
Got it. So, our revenues have jumped quite a significant. We have seen like kind of a 40% odd growth. So, and also the margins have improved significantly. So, what kind of future growth trajectory would like to quantify in terms of percentage, not specifically in terms of numbers, and what could be our future margin profile?
So I think, the reason for margins to improve is that we invested ahead of the curves 2 years back, and that starts, showing effect. So from a margin point of view, I think we are going to be pretty much the same, or maybe, a percentage point better in terms of margin realization, at least for the next 24 months. From a growth point of view, if you look at our last 3 years, we've been growing at about 50% year on year, all 3 this, and we hope to continue that for the next 3 years at least. Right. So the idea really is that, how do you keep a certain high growth pace while you're bettering margins? But again, we will always ensure that quality is not compromised, strong, which gives us, like we invested 2 years back, it started giving us fruit from last year. So suddenly you see that jump in numbers without cost going up, right? Because we had already got the best of talent and things like that. So we want to keep execution very simple. We want to ensure that there is consistent growth equivalent to what we have been growing, in the last 3 years. And that's something that we will continue both in the organic and the inorganic.
So what is our vision down the line from maybe a 3 year point of view or 5 year point of view? Because every founder, and especially this segment, is very attractive and very exciting to be in. So what is your vision for next 3 to 5 years?
So we are very clear that we have the opportunity to build India's largest homegrown communication network, right? Which is tech-led, does all of this. See, please understand, unlike any sector in the country, the advertising sector is almost 125,000 crores and it's growing in double digit. But almost 85 to 90% is controlled by foreign players. No other sector in India is like. But now Indian companies, large Indian brands, as Indian companies become bigger, Indian brands become bigger, more and more they want to work with Indian companies. Right? For example, the government of India, which is the largest spender on digital, I am of a strong belief that at some point they will pivot to working with Indian companies. So we have a real opportunity. There are very few companies of our scale in our sector, independent companies. Foreign players, of course, are much, much, much larger. And we feel that we can actually build a very large global play out of India in the domain that we are. And that's what we want to do. Now, whether that takes 4 years, 5 years, 7 years, I don't know. But I know for sure that what we've learned in the first 10 years is stick to your execution, do one step at a time. Every step you take, don't try and take 10 steps and then take 5 steps back. We one by one we want to do it, and we are very confident that we for the next first 10 years we brought YAP to the capital market. I think in the next decade, we will be able to build a very, very large global company out of India.
You touched upon the point that maybe a US or a France has got their own very large marketing agencies, but India has still got very less number of players, and even the largest players in the India have got very small kind of a top line compared to the global players. So before leaving, any final message you would like to leave for your potential shareholders, and anything which I didn't ask and you wanted to speak upon or touch upon that point?
No, I think, Tanmay, you pretty much covered everything. Just to sum up, we have a company for whom the IPO is not a culmination, right? It's the start of our next journey, right? We are going to use those proceeds for better investments, to get better, acquire better companies, to strengthen our products. For us, this is just bigger. I think, in the next 5, 7, 8, 10 years, you can really build a very large, as you said, Indian setup, which can help Indian brands go global, right? And today we are seeing that. Right, like we started small with Adani Group, we are now growing. More and more large Indian companies will start working with Indian companies like ours. How fast it happens, I don't know. So we are going to stick to what we do best. Investors are smart; they should take their own judgment and figure out. We are here for the long term, and that's what we really want to build. Tanmay.
Thank you, sir, for your time. I know the discussion was quite great and got to learn a lot of new things because this is also quite a new segment for me and we have got very limited knowledge towards it. Thanks for educating us and giving out your time.
Thank you, Tanmay. Pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much.